You don't get closer to God by going to heaven. You get closer to God, like in any relationship, when you understand more, you see more, you do more for Him. That's getting closer. One of the very significant features of the Menorah is that it has 8 candles, but you don't light 8 candles until the 8th day. You light one, and then two, and then three. See, that's also too slow. Can't we just get to 8 right away? But there's an incredible reality message. To go from 1 to 8 is to go up, to increase. Lighting the menorah commemorates a miracle that oil that was enough for one night lasted for 8 nights. Lighting an additional candle each night is a miracle because nature goes in the opposite direction. It seems like everything in nature is controlled by gravity. Everything goes down. There are people who think that nature is wonderful. Nature is beautiful. The universe is so nice, so good. But people are bad. People come into the world and they pollute and they destroy and they make a mess out of this world. Without human beings, nature would be so good. I don't know where we get that impression from. Nature is horrible. Nature has only one destination, and that is decay and destruction. Nature has only one intention, if you can call it that, and that is downwards. Everything dies, everything fades, everything disintegrates. There is no upward movement, none. Not in the human dimension, not in the animal dimension, not in the vegetable, not in the mineral. Nothing goes up, everything goes down. Animals eat animals, plants eat each other, kill each other, die out from the weather. Everything rusts, everything decays. There is one exception. Fire goes up. But even that seems to be, the fire goes up and extinguishes itself. It burns itself out. You have to keep feeding it. And what does it do to what you feed it? Destroys it. The human being is really the only exception. The human being is capable of going up. Not the body. The body gets older. But the spirit, the human spirit, the neshama, goes up. We raise children. We raise them. That means we take them from a lower place to a higher place. That's defying gravity. So when you go from 1 candle to 8 candles, that's a miracle. Because miracle means beyond nature. Nature goes down. everything in nature goes down. And that's why we always talk about the purpose of creation, the purpose of life. A world in which everything goes down needs a purpose. You got to justify this. What kind of a world is this? You create a world and all it does is decay. It's a mystery. So we come up with theories. You know, the expression, whatever goes up must come down. That's not a good idea. That's not a good picture. We come up with an opposite theory. Whatever goes down must come up. All the downward motion, all the loss of life and the decay is all for the purpose of a greater, higher level that we achieve as a result. So what goes down has to be justified, and the justification is after you go down, you go up to a much higher level. And this doesn't mean dying and going to heaven. In a sense, going to heaven is part of going down. Going up means getting closer to God. You don't get closer to God by going to heaven. You get closer to God like in any relationship. You get closer when you understand more, you see more, you do more for Him. That's getting closer. Relocating from here to heaven, how does that get you closer? It's like saying, I didn't love you here. Maybe when I go over there, I'll love you. It doesn't work. That's why we have to be healthy, stay on earth, live forever, and pursue our relationship with God. Going someplace else is just an interruption. So that's why adding a candle each night is miraculous, because everything in nature goes towards decline and decay. The fact that we can be better today than we were yesterday, that's heavenly. And that is supernatural. Now it turns out the universe that we're living in, that seems to have this tendency to go down, is not ending. Everything goes down, and yet the world keeps going. So the scientists are starting to predict, 1 or 2 more million years, in 2 million years, it's going to be all over. That long? We see everything going down in front of our eyes. Why would it take so long for everything to end up down? Decayed, finished. Somehow, this process of going down is endless. It's a strange thing. You keep going down, but you never end up down. A person dies, another one is born. And what happens when you're born? You start to die. So it's a strange loop, and it keeps going round and round and round. Then comes the human being. When you add the human being to the universe, you suddenly have a very different picture. It's not a downward loop, it's a seesaw. Sometimes you go down, sometimes you go up. Without the human being, nature would be horrible. It's not true that without the human being, nature would be beautiful and idyllic. No, it wouldn't. It would be a horror. The only thing that makes this universe a little appealing and a little impressive is the human being. So it turns out that without the human being, nature could not exist. It would destroy itself immediately because there's no upward pull. Everything pulls down. It's only the human spirit that prevents everything from collapsing into itself. So if the world is made up of time and space, which it is, what does time mean? Time means decay. As time passes, we go further and further down. That is what time is. Time means you were at the top, now you're at the bottom. That's time. It's also space. So time and space are inseparable. Time means change. And all change seems to be for the worse. The Torah says the universe, the physical universe, is made up of time, space, and people. Spirit, or consciousness, as they call it. Without the conscious presence of the human being, nature wouldn't last. It would have destroyed itself a long time ago. What creates the balance between up and down is the human being. The human being against nature. Nature pulls down, the human pulls up. And we spoke about this many times before. The definition of a human being, when human beings are healthy, the definition of a human being is that he is never content being human. Something pulls up. I can't just be human. I need more. I need to go higher. So the human being presents the balance against the tug of gravity. Who's going to win this war? The human being pulls upwards, nature pulls downwards. Who's going to win? One of the key messages of Hanukkah is the light, the candle, will always win over the dark. May take a few thousand years, but it's going to happen. Inevitable. The darkness cannot win, and the light cannot fail. So even after thousands of years of the darkness seeming to prevail, we know it can't. We know it's going to fail because we know that up is the only option. Torah is basically the ladder that stands on earth but reaches into heaven. That's called up. So it makes sense that we celebrate Hanukkah despite what's going on in the world. So much pain, so much sorrow, so much tragedy, so much ugliness. More than we ever thought, because every ugliness is being revealed and uncovered, which is good news, but still shocking how evil can be. And yet we're going to celebrate and we're going to sing and we're going to have a concert. And doesn't it seem inappropriate? The sages say in the Gemara, do not cry at a wedding and do not laugh at a funeral. It's inappropriate. You have to behave appropriate to the circumstance. Well, the world is in a lot of pain. It's a lot of, what are you singing about? What are you dancing? How can you celebrate life? But of course, the answer is, so what are you going to celebrate? Death? You have to celebrate life, particularly when there's so much downward pull. You have to create the counterbalance. Then you have to pull upward harder with more conviction, with more enthusiasm. So Hanukkah comes just in time, just when we need it the most. But this is what Hanukkah means. We are miraculous because nature goes downward and we go upward. We meaning human beings in general, but Jews in particular. We've had more darkness and we had to combat that with more light. So let's celebrate the going up, an additional candle every night, which means less darkness every night until the night is gone, replaced by joy and gratitude. Because when Mashiach comes, we are told, we will actually be grateful for every pain, for every ache, for every downward motion of the last 5,785 years, because it all led to this incredible conclusion, which is Mashiach, that all the pain will not only be forgotten, but it will be appreciated. Now, that's an amazing thing. Hashem ki onafta bi. The Rebbe often said, well, anything less than that would never justify the suffering. If we're going to suffer for 5,000 years and then the suffering stops, does that justify the suffering? Not at all. The only way it can be justified is if it leads us to a place that is so good that even the pain feels good. As long as the pain feels bad, it's not justified. Bad is never justified. So let's celebrate. Let's increase the light. Let's completely eliminate the darkness to where it is completely healed and forgotten and transformed into gratitude. That's Moshiach. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. These ideas, these messages, this approach to life, this approach to Torah, to meaning, and to morals is vital for the world today. And we need to get this message out to the entire world. It is universal, it's essential, it's indispensable. To support this effort, if you want to be a partner in this crime, check out the link and make a donation. It really helps a lot. And thank you in advance.